Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Lovely, very warm welcome to everyone into the Sangha Live session today. And I hope this finds you well. I hope you're settling in and arriving with a sense of well-being and ease in body, heart and mind. And if you're not, I hope that by the end of the session there'll be at least a little bit more of that, a little bit more well-being, spaciousness and energy in the being. So as you'll know, we're exploring caring resolve this week, and we've been exploring different ways that we can bring that into being. We'll continue with that. I'll give a little bit of a few more ideas about where we're going and what we can do there, and we'll bring that into a period of practice. And then finally, there'll be time for any exchange from you, any comments, any questions that you might be having about the way that we're practicing, why we're practicing, how we can bring that to more of our life, how we can refine the exact practices, so that we really feel that we understand, we get it, we can apply it to our experience in meditation and out of it. All of that is welcome. So I've already opened up the questions area. So if you have a question that's alive for you at the moment, you can already put it in there. But when we come to that period of the session, you'll be welcome to put that into the chat, and you can just put it like capital letters, question or reflection or comment or whatever it is in there. Probably question and reflection kind of covers most things that we'll be bringing in, but if there's something else, feel free to put that in as well. I really appreciate hearing from you and hearing your responses, as I also appreciate coming in here and seeing your messages of welcome to all of us. So thank you for using the chat in that way to express your care. And if you haven't used the chat much since you've been coming here, or you're coming for the kind of first times, then feel free to use that chat. It's a really lovely, welcoming community, and if you wish to, feel free to say hello in there. You'll certainly get a warm, welcoming response. Great. So let's continue opening this. So you may remember the last day we were playing with spaciousness. The day before that, we were also kind of practicing meeting what feels painful with a bit more spaciousness, and maybe that kind of made sense for you. When we wish to practice caring resolve, we often need to balance between, so we're usually using that phrase as a kind of a way of explaining compassion. And compassion is the response of the caring heart when it meets what's painful, what's unpleasant, what's unwanted, what's difficult, what's challenging, in those kind of ways. It's like we want that caring and resolve. And resolve means to ease out, to allow to disappear. Yeah. In that way. That's kind of our intention there. But so we need to get this balance between kind of rushing in to fix it before we've really gotten to know it, with that kind of reticence to get involved at all. I don't know if I'm the right one, or, this seems really big. This one's actually not something we can change, So that kind of balance between rushing and reticence, that hesitance to connect. Yeah. And maybe it's already obvious, but I see this correlation, the connection there, it mirrors the way that we can work with the energetic hindrances. At least that's what I call them. So you may know there are 5 hindrances, which are the kind of common forms that dukkha arises. So we have greed, greediness, seeking out the sensual pleasures rather than actually seeking out more spiritual pleasures, like the pleasures of generosity and kindness and patience. And it's like, there's real pleasure in those things. but we tend to kind of let's get rid of. Yeah, and the getting rid of is the second hindrance, the aversiveness. I don't want this. This shouldn't be happening. You know, why me? And it's that whole resistance energy psychologically. And the 3 and the 4 I call the energetic hindrances, and that's restlessness, which also has a dimension of worry to it oftentimes, restlessness, and dullness, which also often has an aspect of boredom to it. So it's restlessness, too much energy for the space, and dullness, too little energy for the space. So that's why I kind of refer to them as the energetic hindrances. The 5th hindrance, just to name it, is a lack of confidence in our capacity primarily to change the other 4, yeah, to kind of change our experience, improve our experience. Yeah, so they are not independent features. It's not, you know, it's like 4 fingers and a thumb, you know, 5 digits on a hand. There's 5 hindrances. They really are interconnected. You can change one, you kind of change all of them. In our experience, it's just worth recognizing that the energetic hindrances have this kind of physical element, the energy of the restlessness, and a psychological aspect. So restlessness goes with worry, you know, and lots of thinking and all of that kind of thing. Dullness tends to go with boredom. Yeah, it's that kind of dissolving, collapsing kind of experience. If you change the energetics, you also change the psychological aspect. You change one, you change both. Yeah. Like an example, I was actually saying this to my niece yesterday, and she was talking to me a bit about, heard about someone, a friend of hers, going on a meditation retreat, and she was describing to me what it sounded like. We talked a little bit about the physiological and the psychological interplay. And I use this example. It's like, can you imagine being excited about something without any physiological change? You know, nothing changing in the body, nothing changing in the felt sense of the energetics there. Yeah. So body going right down to that subtle level of just the energy, not muscular, you know, changes in the excitement, although there probably are, but actually that kind of energetic, that lift, that change in the posture. Can you imagine excitement without any physiological change? I mean, I can't. It certainly wouldn't be the same thing. Maybe it wouldn't happen at all. It would be so different. Yeah. So you could be, I believe, you know, you could be muscularly paralyzed, right? And you could still feel excitement. It wouldn't be quite the same, but you could feel it energetically. But if we remove the energetic element altogether, what would that be? What would that be? So if you change the physiological, energetic thing, you change a lot more. And we'll come back to this because it's really radical and radically important. It also is a kind of a microcosm, or like a mini example within a larger example of interconnectedness. Body, heart, mind, they interplay. Yeah, they are connected. You change what might be appearing on the bodily, energetic level, you start to change the openness of the heart, the activity of the rest of the mind in those ways. Yeah, the way the awareness goes, the way the attention goes, the way the mood is unfold, the way the, you know, atmosphere of attention, all of those things, right? So small differences in the most accessible way start to make radical shifts in the way that we feel, the way that we are, and the way that we unfold. And we can move that towards more wisdom, more relief of stress and distress and suffering. And we can also, as we will continue to be pointing in the direction of, we can also bring that into the world, into the changes that we can impact. From that sense of increased skill, but also from that sense of coming from a place of well-being. Yeah. So we're not rushing in and we're not holding back from engaging. And we can actually practice caring resolve in more and more aspects and elements and dimensions of our experience. Okay. So we've explored spaciousness, as I said. I mentioned back in the description this kind of quality of spacious intimacy, That was there in the kind of the invite and the explanation of what we'd be doing. We explored it yesterday through really going vast with that spaciousness. Remember, like untying the knots of the hot air balloon, untying the knots of attention that are kind of drawing us in, yeah? And we have other ways of doing that. And also, you know, since the opening days, speaking about this kind of spacious intimacy that we can bring to our life, that quality of brilliance and presence that can also come in through the spaciousness. So we spoke about these energetic hindrances, too much energy, too little energy. And we might have an idea, you know, the goal is absolute calm, absolute calm. But if we only aim towards calm, how are we going to get that dullness up and going? So I just want to speak a little bit about that and practice a little bit around that today. The quality of restlessness, when we notice it in our being, can be so skillfully opened in that sense of that untying, expanding, and there's an underlying concept here. Awareness just can allow itself to become large. If you stop pulling it in, it goes, it grows, it goes out, and it expands from there. Yeah. And the reactivity of the pain and the contraction is kind of released in that. We've got the energy, but we need more calm. I don't know if I said it already, but like, I think the goal is vibrant tranquility. Yeah. So that's tranquility in the calm, the ease, the thing like that. Too much tranquility and we become tranquilized, that kind of dullness, and we're not connected. Yeah. Too much vibrancy and we get into that restlessness. And that kind of, to me, vibrant tranquility really speaks of a beautiful state. And sometimes we've experienced that. We've experienced that in moments of friendship, connection, positive action, acts of kindness, all of those things. It's like, if you tune in, feel what that's like. Vibrant tranquility. Lovely, lovely. So that's what we can do. We have that practice. You can go back to that one. You know, all of these recordings hopefully are being processed by George and others at Sangha Live to make them available for us. So you can go back into that one. If you feel, actually, that's my main way of showing up, is like, restless, fix it, you know, quick, chick-chack, let's get this thing done. But if more of our way at the moment is more of this kind of like dullness, actually, you know, I'm quite calm, and what I really need is more energy. And similarly, this can be transformed, and it can be transformed through a sense of spaciousness, which is kind of unexpected. You might think, well, there's not enough energy for the space. We need to shrink that space. But interestingly, if we have more of a sense of pushing out the awareness keeps shrinking in. It's almost like a balloon. We're inside the balloon this time. The balloon hasn't got enough air in it, and it's almost breathing out the attention. I don't know about breathing out, but maybe breathing in to the body. Holding that breath within can help, but also the sense psychologically of actually stretching out that awareness, pushing it out as if we I need to kind of keep it open, keep it above. You don't need to use your hands. This is purely metaphorical hand waving. In the attention, I'm doing it now. Pulling it out. Can you keep it large? Like, imagine that there's like a layer of attentional energy. You have a sense of the body is like this big, and we stretch it out through the whole body, stretch it out just a little bit around, you know, hands width around the body. And can you keep it large? Now, interesting, if there's any degree of calmness in the being, it starts to get more energized in that stretch. So that activity of stretching, it brings a sense of challenge, it brings a sense of interest. Can I do this? Can you keep it large? And it brings a sense of energy. And when we get there, it's like, oh, that space opened out, stretched out, brings that sense of what we might call vibrant tranquility. Yeah. And as much or as little as we do it with those different attitudes and energies there, we can really start to change our experience. So in the spaciousness comes this sense of intimacy, spacious intimacy. I think that was the phrase I also used in the description. It's a phrase that works for me. Intimacy might not be the right word for all of us. It might feel, yeah. But what I want to give that sense is that the space doesn't limit our intimacy. It's not like it might sound in a romantic or close friendship relationship. I need some space. I need some time. I need some room, kind of from you to not be connected to you. But actually, that's going to sound like rejection or things falling apart. And, you know, I mean, of course, it may be in that connection there. But in our one, the increase of space isn't moving away. It isn't indifference. It's not rushing to fix. It's actually all can feel allowed to come to life. More sensitivity because of the space. And we're going to tune in more into that sensitivity, into that stretching, into that opening. And hopefully, however you phrase it to yourself, but this spacious intimacy or sensitivity is part of meeting all things well. And that includes ourselves, includes others, includes all appearances and all elements of experience, regardless of whether they appear to be happening in here or out there. They're all happening in this awareness. Yeah, life is happening in our awareness, dependent on what we pay attention to and dependent on how we pay attention to it. And hopefully we can evolve to pay attention to everything, even the things that feel very, very hard to come close to. So the spacious intimacy is part of caring resolve. Caring and dissolving what's difficult, what's limited. So it's also a dimension of that radiant non-reactivity. Yeah. That beautiful equanimous quality. It's also an aspect of metta. Some of you will know as loving kindness, but that impartial goodwill. Yeah, and also of appreciative joy for what's beautiful. Yeah. So all the aspects of our experience opened into these much more boundless heart qualities. Again, it speaks of this spacious intimacy, which resonates through a sense of this vibrant tranquility. Okay, so I hope that kind of starts to make sense, that all of these are useful practices to build, to make a foundation for more of our connection to existence. And from that place of deep connection, then we can act with skillfulness. We have there in that wise acceptance. It's like this right now. It's like this right now. And that second one is actually, how is it like this right now? How is it coming into being? What's there? How is it? Oh, quite dull. Okay. We can play a part with that. And that dullness, we're not rejecting it, but like, how would you like it, dullness, if we just stretch that out a little bit? Yeah, so hopefully you can see how those it all interplays, these kind of simple patterns that we can play with. We get to these places of more spacious and intimate, vibrant but tranquil. And maybe that leads us towards more well-being, changes us energetically, also starts to change us psychologically, how we think, how we feel, how we sense ourselves. Okay. So much more we can say about this, and there may be questions, clarifications, but let's have a meditation together and see how much we can do this. So again, understanding a little bit what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going more for the energetic stuff. Yeah. So just choose a meditation posture that feels suitable for that, suitable for the practice of stretching out a little bit. Yeah. So again, if you have a posture that you like to use, feel free to use it. But also question, do I always need to practice in that same posture? And feel invited. Could be standing, could be reclining, could be moving, walking, whatever, for this session. You don't have to get it right. This is an experimentation, exploration. Yeah. We're opening to different ways of cultivating and even if we get it wrong, there's a great learning in there for us. Okay, so just a few minutes of settling in, really knowing well how to guide yourself into this, but remembering your intention to be here, to cultivate, to ease, to open, to free. And with that same attitude, having a little look around the experience, look at the body, the heart, the mind, one by one, just to get a sense how things are. You're able to access the body as physical, as energy, however. How are you doing, body? How are you feeling? A kind inquiry, not a question of are you good enough, but how are you doing? Like we'd ask a friend. And with that same caring attitude, how are you doing, heart? And for some of us, it might be, where are you, heart? Any sense we have of even looking for the heart, that can be where we are. How are we doing with that looking? How is the mind, particularly maybe the intellect, the thinking, the emotion making, where the attention is going? How are you doing? And we'll come from here into a sense of connection with the breathing or body sensations. If you can, whole body from the start, or background sense as a whole body here. Or if you prefer, moving into the listening with a sense of a rich, wide listening sphere. Noticing the arising and the passing of breath or sounds through the body. If you're working with the breath, feel free to slow the breath down, allow the breath to get longer, more nourishing. See what that does for experience. We'll take a few minutes of practice, just trying to be with a few breaths, a few sounds at a time. You don't have to be with all of them, but it's good if we kind of set an achievable goal. 3 breaths, yes. And then rest, and then come back in, 3 breaths. Noticing where attention is at this moment. Remembering distractions or any other thoughts, feelings, sensations are just as worthy of being met with kindness and care. So before rushing back to the present moment, which you're already in, just slow down time. There's time to meet this well. And then almost like an instrument coming in quietly, building back in, we can bring in more of that breath or other listening practice that we're doing. More and more, just fading that in so that the practice becomes more about smooth transitions than giant leaps. And the element of the composition that plays through it all is this intention of kindness and care. So if you're listening to breaths, what would be an enjoyable way to breathe? And oftentimes that's a little bit deeper, or an enjoyable way to listen to sounds. And oftentimes that's a little bit subtler than we might already be doing. We start to just move in that direction. Slowing the breath if that feels nice. Opening to more of the body, more of the sound space if we're in the sounds. So we keep just making these small adjustments to our experience before we go into that full stretching of awareness. If your attention is drifting away from the meditative object, it's kind of two key reasons why that happens. One is there's not enough interest, attention, tuning into the experience. And the other is that there's not enough of that. There's too little or too much. We're overly tuning in and trying to get to know and getting too close. We need more of that spaciousness. We're either too tight or too loose. Right? And it's very common that that's not quite perfect. There's nothing wrong with being in any of those modes, but it's a sense, maybe I need to loosen out. I'm actually squeezing in, I'm coming a bit too close this time. And that can be helped also maybe attending to the out-breath more than the in-breath. So you don't have to balance the attention through the whole of the breath. Maybe it's more with the next 3 out-breaths. Maybe the in-breath attention be quite light. If we need a bit more energy, a bit more coming into life, maybe we can just adjust a bit more of the in-breath. And of course, you don't have to have figured it out already. You can just explore, play, make a guess. Just do one for the next few minutes. See what happens. This quality, something we can ask quite a lot is, am I too tight? Am I too loose here? Just drop that in whatever practice we're doing. I found this useful across the board. And some of those ways of changing it, attending to different aspects of the experience, the in rather than the out, or the out rather than the in, bringing that different quality. You could equally do that. Pay attention to where it's not moving, where the breath's not moving, really getting into that area. Bring a lot of calm and ease. There's a lot to explore there. What we're going to move into now is a little bit more of this stretching the awareness. So this can have levels, dimensions. I'll explain it primarily working within the sense of the body, but here we mean the full somatic experience of the body, not just the physical levels, also the energetic levels, also the attention, the awareness levels there. And I will refer to how to do this in the sound, which if you have a choice, I would practice it more in the body sense first. But if you don't have a choice, body's not feeling accessible, then hopefully this will make sense in the sound sphere. So where's the attention now of the body? Is it more in the head, the face, more in particular areas? Can that be stretched out, expanded, stretched out, like we're stretching a balloon over the whole of the body? Stretched out, thinking energetically, somatically, feeling that, stretching it out a little bit wider than the body, a bit above, below. I'm not worried about the physicalness or physics of this. It's more just a sense of stretching out that attention, awareness around the body. In that sense, it takes a bit of effort to keep this out, and it's going to want to shrink. We're having that concept about it this time. I just need to keep it out. And while I keep it out, getting that full breath. Maybe it's actually possible to imagine, to feel I'm breathing through the whole of this space. There's an energetic resonance to the breath through the whole of the space. Maybe even forgetting anatomical stuff. Still that same rhythm of the breath that's occurring. Breathing up the body and breathing down the body. So a sense of breathing, playing with breath through the space. A sense of a tide of breath moving through this stretched awareness. If you're working with sounds, so those working in the body space, carry on with that, just exploring that. Let's explain for those working with sounds. Every time there's a sound, you notice that the attention is narrowly around that sound. Just having a sense there's more here, stretching out that awareness around whatever we're hearing. Rather than that just vast, wide sound sphere, which can be there in the background. Each individual sound, more here. Open the space around how we're listening. So we're really playing with that hearing realm. So coming back into the body, it's probably shrunk already. Just remembering, stretch that out. And just keeping it stretched out is one task, and that could be enough. But also there's a sense of the breath energetically moving through. And that stretching out can be almost like a massage, opening out blocked areas, letting them almost like be pulled outwards. And if we can, as we stretch out the attention, enjoying the stretch, like yoga or like yawning, enjoying the stretch. and you've had enough, you can stop, but we're just going to do a few minutes of this if we can. If you start to feel a bit lightheaded, that's okay. It's also, sometimes it's part of it. It doesn't have to be unpleasant, but don't push yourself too far. Part of the lightness that can come through this way of practicing. If a lot of energy starts to move, you can allow it to flow out the top of the head. If that's not the case yet, don't worry. Don't force anything. Just allowing an enjoyment of the stretch. If the breath disappears at any point, don't worry, you don't need to get it back. Just have a sense of moving, a flow of energy within the space. Like a current, like the breath was. If the breath's still there, keep using the breath. Just a few more seconds, stretching out. And if you want, you can continue, but it's a good time now just to rest into feeling how it feels. Maybe reconnecting to breath, sense of nourishment, sense of resting after the effort. Sense of the sounds that are in the sound sphere. Come back to that longer breath or balancing the energies. That longer means slower, maybe wider. Inviting you to tune into any sense of well-being from your practice. Doesn't have to have come from this session. Any sense of well-being from your practice. And with that spirit of boundless interconnection, can we imagine ourselves giving this away for the benefit of all beings, including ourselves? May all beings experience more well-being in this moment and over time.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.